Walking down the street every day, it's pretty easy to forget that a lot of the things humans need every day and use every day come from nature. Think about it for a second. If you're using an iPad, you're using electricity, which somehow comes from the environment. If you're reading a book, you're using paper, which also comes from the environment. So, books made from paper, iPads need electricity, you drink water that comes from the environment. But do you really know where it all comes from? There are lots of issues to consider when using resources from the environment. Today we're just going to explore a couple. But let's think about that. How do we get paper and how do we use it best? I can't do this all alone though, so we're going to work together, so keep in mind questions you might have, ideas you might have, and examples you might have to use. This is Dave, he's a scientist. What he's telling us is that lots of things we need come from nature, but we already know that. This is a pretty great list, but can you think of anything else? Take a few seconds to note anything down you can think of in your books. We can come back to it later. You have a few more seconds to think about it. Just don't worry if you're right or wrong, write anything you can down. Anything that comes from nature. We can talk about it later. This is Susan. She's a scientist with Dave, but what she's saying is it's not always good that we get all the things we need from nature and the environment. Can you think? Sometimes what happens is humans use too many of our natural resources too quickly. By doing this, they don't have time to replenish themselves or grow again. This can mean we will run out, and then there'll be none at all. Unsustainable and sustainable are two really important words. Take a second now to write them in your book, leaving a space in between. Remember these words, they are going to be so important in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you remember sustainable and unsustainable. Being sustainable isn't just great for us, it means that we can use things over and over again. It's also great for our environment because it means that it can stay the same way that it has for millions and millions of years. Imagine, what would happen if we ran out of petrol for our cars? Or we ran out of paper so we couldn't make books? Maybe we'd run out of wool and we couldn't keep ourselves warm. Wonder. So you've headed off to the beach. Great idea. A lot of interesting things happening by the beach and a lot of things that really matter to us. So I wonder, are we using our oceans sustainably? Kind of, but a major issue for our oceans is overfishing. Just think, when you sit down for fish and chips on a hot night over summer, how many other people are doing it? How many fish does that mean are leaving our oceans? So that's a lot of fish. But it's not just the fact that we're taking those fish out of the ecosystem and we might run out of those, it's also the big impact it has on the ecosystem and the other animals living in the ocean. It might be unsustainable, but that's just at the moment. There's a lot of people working to try and keep the world in balance, and a lot of people everywhere are doing their bit to help the environment. People everywhere are trying to figure out ways to make our world more sustainable. Can you think of any? People are looking at old ways, new ways, and different ways we haven't even thought of to try and help make our natural resources last longer.